go. And then Casey is Dan. Casey is our alpha male. So Mookie's joining us now as well. Looks like most of the troops are going to make their way up here, which is kind of cool. They don't often do that. So what you guys are going to see Tammy asking are a lot of what we call body part presentation behaviors. Essentially, it's just like what it sounds. We're asking them to present different parts of their body. Since we don't go in with them, we still need to be able to get a good look at everyone. So things do happen, animals get injured, they do wound each other, and we want to make sure that we're able to get a good look at those wounds. If we need to do anything else, or if we need to maybe put antiseptic spray or some kind of topical medication on there, we want to know that we're able to do that, and everyone's desensitized to that. It is a busy, busy window today. Everybody's decided to come over. I know. So, this is, we use a system called operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is a positive reinforcement system. We don't use any kind of negative reinforcement or punishment here at the zoo. So this is totally voluntary for them to come up. This is something we work on every single day. So basically you guys are seeing what we do behind the scenes to take care of these guys. So with those body part presentation behaviors, there's a lot of other things that we can do with that. Things get more complicated the more we do. So one of the big ones, the old way, if somebody needed an injectable medication or if we're putting them under anesthesia for procedure, we do physicals on them every 3 years. And physicals are coming up, so we're really ramping up training these behaviors. We don't want to have to dart them. That's a really scary, stressful thing. So one of the big things we work on is hand injection. That's something that we're working on all the time because it's a lot easier to just get a shot. So that's something that we do a lot, and then we also work on things like ultrasound. One of the leading causes of death for great apes in captivity, less so in chimps, we see it more in gorillas and orangutans, is heart disease. But we do want to make sure that we're still taking care of their hearts. So we work on cardiac ultrasound with all of our males. With our females, we work with prenatal ultrasound. When Ramona was pregnant with Mashindi, they were actually able to get really good pictures of the baby in her belly, which is a very difficult thing. It takes a lot of patience on her part. She has to get used to not just being touched with a wand, not just having the gel on her, but actually having a stranger, when we have an ultrasonographer come in and help us, have that stranger actually using the wand on her. So it takes a long time to build up those behaviors, but they're really, really important for us to have. So chimps are not monkeys. Does anybody know what they are? Did somebody say apes, or did I just give that answer away? They're apes, so that's who we are. And anybody know the easiest way to tell the difference between a monkey and an ape? These guys do not have tails. Very good. A lot of differences, but that's kind of the easiest way to tell. There are great apes and lesser apes. Lesser apes are things like gibbons. There are 16 to 21 subspecies of gibbon. We have white sheep gibbons over in Zoo North, primate place. I would highly encourage you guys to check them out. They're awesome. There are 5 types of great apes. There are chimps. They're close cousins of bonobo. Orangutans, gorillas, you guys can see just how they have. And humans, these are our closest living relatives. We share between 98.6 and 98.8% of our DNA. As we're seeing more and more of these studies come out, we're learning we're even more closely related to them than we thought. They're very, very intelligent animals. There's a couple different ways that we know that. First off, they are tool users. They were the first animals ever to be observed making and using their own tools in the wild. And that was by Jane Goodall, a name I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with, back in 1963. Since then, we've learned that a lot of animals use tools. And we've learned that all of our great apes use tools. One of the big ways that you guys will see them use tools is something that Tammy's going to show you a little bit later, which is called fishing. You can see that we can do the same thing with our termite mound back there. And so essentially we can go in there and we have what are called dip wells. And we'll put those little PVC caps in there. We'll put oatmeal, honey, ketchup, mustard, whatever we feel like in there. And we'll put a stick in there like, hey, just to let them know there's something in there. And they will go make their own tools and they will fish for what is in there. So in the wild they would use that for termites. They'll use it for ants, things like that. And then they also do things like smashing nuts with rocks. That sounds pretty easy, right? It's actually kind of a complicated behavior to learn. It takes 4 to 5 years to do that, and that gets passed down from mom to child. A great example of culture in these animals. And it takes 2 tools to do that. You need to have a tool kit. That's something we see even less in the animal kingdom. You need to have a hammer and an anvil. They will have to go find a rock that works for what they're looking for. And then they need a rock or a log that has a notch in it to make sure that, you know, guys, we don't lean on those bears. That would be great because they can tip. It's just soft. And then they have to learn Hey, I need to keep it in that notch, or I'm going to smash my fingers. I need to be able to hit it just hard enough to open it and not smash it. Because if they smash it, they can't eat it. And obviously, if they don't hit it hard enough, they're not going to be able to open it. So that's something that takes a while to learn. Another great example of tool use, and it's something that we're starting to see, is actually chimps making what we would call spears. So some of the researchers in Senegal that are working at these long-term study sites are seeing chimps that are using sharp sticks to kind of poke around in the knotholes of trees looking for bush babies, which are other small primates that they will eat. So if they poke it in there and there's blood on the end of it when they pull it out, it's a pretty good chance there's something in there that bleeds, right? And likely that's going to be a bush baby. They're nocturnal, and so they're basically sleeping during the day. Kind of easy targets for the chimps. They do eat, obviously, a bit of meat, but it only counts for about 3% of the time they spend hunting and foraging. Most of what they eat is fruits, vegetables, nuts, things like that. And you guys can see Ramona doing that belly presentation. That's how we'll start asking for those prenatal ultrasound behaviors. So basically, we're going to build off of that. We're going to get her to present her belly. Then we're going to get her used to basically us just touching it, having her hold for longer periods of time. Then we introduce the gel. That is the biggest hurdle. They really don't like having gel on for some reason, but the great part about chimps is when we're done, we can give them a couple paper towels and they'll just wipe that gel off for us. So that kind of helps a lot. And then also eventually having that wand touch her and then building up that wand touching for longer periods of time, and then introducing those other elements that I talked about. So with the hunting, a lot of times they'll hunt other primates. They hunt small monkeys like red colobus monkeys, and we don't think that it is so much of a necessary behavior for eating as we do think it is a social behavior. They are very, very social animals. They will sacrifice everything in their life to make sure they have healthy social relationships with the rest of the troop. So they will forego food, sleep, anything else, just to make sure that everybody's pretty close-knit and everything's going really well socially. So they will share that food with each other because that's a really high-value food item. So basically, it's kind of an altruistic behavior, saying, hey, I'm going to share this with you because we're pretty good friends, right? So that helps a lot as far as a social activity and building a lot of those behaviors. So Tammy's going to wrap up the window here. These guys, I will leave you with, they are endangered. Obviously, that's a word you hear a lot at the zoo. So one of the things I like to talk about, there are 4 subspecies of chimp in the wild, and it's likely within the next 15 to 20 years, at least one, if not more, of those subspecies will be completely extinct in the wild. Do you guys want to guess who the biggest threat to them is? Us. Very good. There's a whole lot of them standing right here. So, there's a couple different reasons for that. First off, they are hunting for bushmeat. That means people eat them. There's a couple places that it is sold as kind of a delicacy in some underground markets. I don't know why you would want to eat a chimp if you don't have to, but apparently some people were willing to pay a lot of money to do that. And then in other places, we see a lot of, you guys can see this fishing behavior right now. It's kind of cool. So you can see they knew what they were looking for. They knew what they needed to exhibit that behavior or to be successful. So if he went over, got his stick, Casey got his, and they're going to fish for that oatmeal that's in there.
That was a big blob.
Casey is not, so much. There's not a lot of precision to Casey's fishing behavior. He's not real good at it. But Mookie's like a surgeon with the stick. He knows what he's doing. So, back to the threats, obviously with the bushmeat, we're seeing a lot of deforestation, we're seeing a lot of habitat destruction for agriculture, for mining, things like that. And so as people are cutting deeper and deeper into their forests, obviously there's less and less food around. So they end up eating a lot of bushmeat, eating a lot of endangered animals. So that's a big threat. Obviously, the mining is a big threat too. Everybody's got cell phones, cameras, tablets, electronics like that. All the small electronics have a mineral in them called coltan. And coltan is mined in the areas where African gray apes and a whole lot of other animals live. So one of the things you guys can do to help protect our great apes in those areas is to recycle your electronics when you're done with them. And another big one is buying sustainable rainforest products. You can find things like that that have logos on them indicating that